Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khushamdi. Ji ayanu. Goeiemorgen.
Bukhair agale, ni hao, tune shumme, washmale, ohio gonzaimus, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hala shuma chutore, ahlan wa sahlan marhaba, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning, alongside the very amazing, the very talented Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you today?
I am great. How are you? How are you feeling on a Monday?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling enthusiastic. I'm full of energy.
As
I've
usual.
I've overslept as well. So
Okay.
I'm not feeling very sleepy too as well, because half of the time, what happens is, as soon as you realize on Sunday evening that the weekend's about to get over,
Yeah.
so you're like, okay, you know what I need to do? I need to go to bed as quickly as possible.
That's true. That's
Well,
true.
how about you? How was your weekend?
So my weekend, as usual, I was working. I didn't have actually any day off. But I'm always, happy about the weekend anyway because I don't have to wake up early in the morning.
Yeah.
And the working hours are a little confined. So yeah. Other than that, Monday, as we always say, happens to be a drag day because it's the start of a whole new week, and we're always waiting up on Friday.
Yeah.
So the distance between Monday to Friday is like so long.
Exactly, but then at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, the life gives you a chance every other day as well. So you better get up, pick yourself up, make sure that you show up at work. No matter what happens, dress up, and show up at work. This is something which you can do at least. But other than that, there's something very interesting.
Okay.
So yesterday in my Facebook notifications, I had a notification from our page, well, this morning's page on Facebook, where approximately 1.1K people were engaging, or probably 3.5K. There were two figures differently as well. And there's this one feedback which I got, and I thought that I would share it with all my amazing viewers who are out there as well.
Okay.
Now what they said was that half of the time what happened, there was this one guy who wrote this to us, and he said that half of the time it is hard to follow what you are saying because you're saying it too fast. So
both of us?
No, he was just
Okay,
talking
okay.
about me.
Okay.
So I responded to that guy too as well. I was like, what kind of tempo do you want me to have? And then he came up with a point where we can actually understand.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you actually wrote down
Thank you
that.
for the feedback,
But I
yes.
think that when I'm speaking a bit faster and a bit louder, I think that there's more energy in the room then.
That's true, that's true. I always sort of feel the same because there's a tempo when you've started speaking,
Yeah.
you just keep going on about it. And if you try to slow down between that, it sort of breaks up, So yeah, before moving on to what the show is about, I don't know why you're laughing.
Just like that.
Okay, before moving on to what the show is about, let's take a look at the top stories for the hour.
Let's do it. Good morning.
Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says the US was not giving Pakistan any aid but coalition support fund and reimbursements against the services rendered by Pakistan in the fight against terrorism. I really don't care if US cuts the funds.
All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, where Prime Minister Imran Khan constitutes a high-powered committee on local body system which will present recommendations within 1 week, directs to finalize the recommendations within 1 week.
And defending champion Babar Khan clinched the title of Sarfaranga Coal Desert Rally in Baltistan.
Moving on, where Babar Khan covered the 40-kilometer distance in 25 minutes and 5 seconds.
And Fakhr Mahi remains second, 2 minutes behind Babar, while Nashirwan Tawana finished third in the rally.
Meanwhile, Salma Khan clinched the women race in the time of 37 minutes and 48 seconds. Taiba finished third. Wow.
Looks so interesting.
Yeah.
Would you ever be into it?
And no, I haven't. I've never ever been over there, but there's this good news as well, because there are women actually ending up on a third position or on a second position is because of the fact that it's in line with what we are going to discuss today, ladies and gentlemen.
So, okay, before we, introduce something, we've been asking each other this before as well, before the show, but on air, what does women empowerment or feminism or all these terms mean to you? There's a different definition everyone has. So
Yeah.
I want to hear
Okay.
what
So
you have.
so with me, it's different. For me, women empowerment, I don't think that it's feminism at all.
Okay.
There's this different concept within my own head as well. There are other people who advocate on different terms too as well. For me, I think women empowerment is where women, for example, we're within our own houses as well, or probably outside the houses from each and every household, when they get to decide what they want to do in their life, is women empowerment. Because this is how probably men practice over here in Pakistan. Okay, I want to go out, I do not really have to ask for permission. I
Right,
want to go
right.
shopping, I want to spend money, whatever I want to do, all of those decisions are my own and I'm going to own them. But unfortunately, what happens is that in majority of the households, women are supposed to ask for permissions. Why? This is something which we'll be discussing today as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, there are a few facts which I would love to share, and that
Okay.
is, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I'm speaking slowly now. So the total global population is more than 7 billion
Yeah.
people, and out of those 7 billion people, approximately 4.9 or probably more than 5 billion are women too as well, where they say that it's the total 56% of the population is women and then 44% is men.
Yeah.
Now just imagine if just 44% will strive to work for the economy of the globe itself, I don't think that we're going to end up that far. So what we need to do is that we need to give women an enabling environment, and alongside that enabling environment, we need to empower them economically as well. Because if you have the economical freedom, you have the freedom to take choices, you have the freedom to take
make
whatever
decisions as well,
decisions you
yeah.
want.
True, that's true. And when you talk about women empowerment, actually, my definition of this is similar to yours. I really believe that independence in decision making actually covers it all.
Exactly.
There's so many things that decision making entails, and this is what we're going to ask our guests as well. And do you care to introduce?
Yeah, I will definitely. So on my ladies and gentlemen, on my right hand side, and before
yes.
we do that,
Yeah.
there's one thing which I would love to mention,
Okay.
and this is where we want to start the conversation from as well. May it be our armed forces, may it be our upper
Oh,
house,
yes.
lower house, everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, we've got representation of women over here in Pakistan. It's not that the women over here are not empowered, but we want more women, more men to come forward, step forward, and work in those areas where we still think that women are lagging behind. And for that, I think we need to join hands, we need to have coalitions, we need to sit together as brothers and sisters of this nation and then work for each other's
And
betterment.
it's not that it's a lately, accomplished concept or something. Actually, we've been working for women empowerment since ages. So when I was in my class 7th, I was reading my diary yesterday.
Yeah.
And I had actually posted, pasted pictures of, there were two girls, Fatma Naeem and Bisma Khalil. They were the first GD pilots to
Yeah.
have joined Air Force in Pakistan by then. And they were actually so inspiring for me. I actually, really thought I felt like becoming a pilot myself because
Yeah.
they were so inspiring. I could see them, para-jumping and flying and everything. So point being, women are actually excelling in so many different various fields that you have mentioned, yes.
Thank you very much for mentioning too as well, but I think I'll take pride in this one as well. Pakistan was the first ever Muslim country to have a women prime minister too as well,
Wow,
ladies and
yes.
gentlemen. I think we are setting the norms, we are setting the trends too as well. But then unfortunately, every media house has got their own propagandas to project. So we're not going to go in those details. We want to be positive. It's Monday. Let's see what our guests have to say. And for this topic, well, I definitely get to say what I want, but we have invited women so that they can probably highlight what the core issues are and how
Yes.
we are going to face them and what are the challenges. So on my right-hand side, we'll be joined by somebody who's an advisor, consultant woman, economic empowerment. She's a social entrepreneur herself. She's none other than Miss Robina Tafiq Shah. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us. Alongside Ms. Rubina, we have been joined by somebody who's a social activist. She's a very regular guest of our show too as well. She's just like family. She's none other than Ms. Afshan Tahseen. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank
How
you
are
very much for joining us. It's lovely
Absolutely
to have
fine,
you
yes.
ladies over here too as well. So to get the conversation started, see, this is the national television. We're on PTV World. Imagine this is how we start our day, and the people who are out there with equal representation from both the genders. Shiza Hashmi and Shizad Khan play the role over here. So in your terms, what is women empowerment? I want to start from there.
Okay, what I think women empowerment is economic empowerment. Because once you economically empower a woman, she is her own decision maker. She has or she earns the money for the house, she arranges the house, she can have her own car, she can go out, she doesn't need to have any permissions, and there is no harassment.
Right.
So once government of Pakistan and the women themselves need to empower themselves, and all other issues then are very small in front of that.
Okay, perfect. What about you, Ms. Afshan?
Okay, my definition of women empowerment is that women are engaged and part of decision making in matters relating to their lives, whether they are housewives or they are working women. Because in lot many cases, women are earning, but still, when they bring that earning home, like even these maids, I can say the other lots of women from the downstream of society, that is always grabbed by the men.
That's
so
true.
I must say it's the decision making power, it's the decisions involved. They have their say. They can have access to all the basic rights. They want to go out, they want to stay in house, they want to get education, they want to adopt any field. They should be having that access in their life, and they should enjoy their basic rights in life in a healthy, mentally healthy and physically healthy and socially healthy environment.
Okay, Ms. Afshan, that makes perfect sense. But you know, Ms. Rubina, since when you were talking about your definition of women empowerment, you mentioned so many things that, you know, how a woman should be independent and, you know, decision making and, you know, economically independent as well, and no harassment. But don't you think we're talking about an ideal case here where all of these things exist? Does this actually happen somewhere?
No, of course, it does exist in many cases. However, our women, I do not think they are completely economically empowered as yet.
Most of them, yes.
You see, wherever they are employed as in the government or in the private sector, of course, they get economic empowerment. But if they are not, they are self-employed, and we have 90% of women going into businesses now.
Yes.
They need to be economically empowered. They are a very small micro enterprises. They need to be supported by the government with policies, and themselves they need to have advocacy campaigns to change the policies in their favor.
Right.
So this is what I think needs to be done, because otherwise, I mean, I have been a government servant all my life. I have never felt that I am not economically empowered. I have got the same rights as a man, and I've got the same promotions. I've never been demoted or anything against any issue, or I've never felt unempowered myself.
Right.
And I've had young officers under me. They cooperated because what I know my subject well. If once you know your subject well, you don't have any hurdles in your life.
So ma'am, are we trying to convey over here that, you know, if there's no financial freedom alongside women, then it is hard for them to feel empowered, or it's just like one of the perks to probably be having financial freedom will actually help them take all those decisions which they wanted to take in life?
Of course. You see, head of the family earns the money. He has all the rights.
So I think we need to change this concept. Everybody in the family can earn.
Yeah.
Contribute towards your family, of course. Yes.
Nee, of course, why not? Why not? Why are you keeping your women at home? And I mean, every woman in Pakistan or everywhere, I think they're so talented, that whenever we ask a woman what she does, she has so many talents, but her talent has not been tapped, has not been harnessed. Why can't it be done? So we need to have policies to let women come up and contribute in the development of the society, in the development of the country, economically.
Okay.
Ms. Afshan, what about you?
Definitely, I would agree with ma'am whatever she said, but I will just go one step behind that. You know, there are certain prerequisites for, you know, empowerment of women. Lots of women, when they are not married or they are not earning, they're just studying, but they are empowered. Like, you must be empowered because your father, your mother, your family supported you in a way that you feel empowered. You're coming here, you're working and doing lots of things. So I must say that the basic prerequisite is education, and then the sort of mindset, change of mindset. In a house, you know, at a household level, when there is a properly enlightened people, they believe even let's take the spirit of Islam, which believes in equal rights of women, and the very first, you know, Islam came into being, and the reason was the empowering of women. So I must say, where they believe that daughter and you know, boy and girl are equal, have equal status in the household, that is the basic start of a women empowerment.
Okay, that's great, but I want to take you back in time.
Okay.
Now, what happens is, and I think that, you know, we have not tapped this area earlier too as well, and I think that we need to speak about it, we need to advocate about it. I think what happens is that, you know, this mindset of the household is very different, that if, God forbid, unfortunately, your daughter is not performing very well in the education too as well, you know, the first thing which comes up to your head is, oh, get her married. You know, so I think these things need to change. We need to go back in time. We need to tell our parents, or probably if we are going to be parents now, we need to change these traditions or these practices by telling our daughters that, unfortunately, if you're not going to study, you're not going to make a good human being out of yourself. And we need to keep on tapping on that too as well. How do you think we'll change mindsets of those probably 2-decade older generations too as well? Do you think that that will be possible now?
Yeah, of course, in some areas that may happen. But I would not totally agree with that. I think now there is a big change, and women, in many households, girls are more educated than boys.
Yes, that's true.
And they are doing much better. If you see the CSS results, if you see the results these days, other results also academic, women are coming up. Even in the medical colleges, I was surprised, my own daughter is a doctor and she told me that there are more women than men in the medical colleges now. So I think that has already changed and the scenario will go on changing. Maybe in the backward areas, they need to be, this needs to be told.
I'm sorry to bring this up. Very sorry.
Can I add on?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to agree with her and I want to add on that it proves all these indicators improve wherever women have got opportunities and a conducive enabling environment.
Yes.
They improved even better than men. Take the case of academics and other positions, they always scored higher than
Not
the,
just
than the
academics.
opposite
The other
gender.
day I was reading this research paper which said that women makes better bosses. You know, so if women are in the leading positions, they make sure that, you know, that there's synergy within the organization too as well. And then the, you know, the profit ranges too as well, they're increased as well, they're greater at business too as well. This is what the research paper said, and I will definitely share it on our Facebook fan page too as well.
But you know, I really do want to talk about when you, first of all, Ms. Safshna said that, you know, in conducive environment where you're comfortable to work. And then there's this other thing you just mentioned. I'm sorry, I totally forgot.
About what?
I have no idea. Okay, so anyway, moving on. So, you know, just before the show, I was talking to Mr. Beena, and she mentioned that women themselves are the reason for, you know, staying behind where they are right now because they're not advocating themselves. They're not asking for their rights.
Thank you very much that it's finally coming from a woman too as well. If I would have said that, you know, there'll be women after me too as well. Why are you saying that?
It's actually great because we're discussing this right now.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Beena, where do you think individually are we lacking behind? Why are we not advocating this? Other than that, you happen to work with the Ministry of Commerce, I know, TDAP as well. And what are you guys doing for advocating women?
Well, what I would think is that we have started developing women entrepreneurship. I mean, I would mostly talk on trade and women,
Okay, sure.
right? And from 1994 onwards. And we have, due to our efforts today, I'm proud to say that we have 17 women chambers.
Okay.
The policy of Director General Trade Organization, which is a department of Ministry of Commerce, has made a policy on women chambers now. And they have so many chambers. However, these chambers are at very nascent stages.
Okay.
And the trade policy made every year or now for 3 years has not been including any clause to develop micro enterprises.
Okay.
Even the financial policies, even the SME policies of government of Pakistan have not included micro enterprises in them.
Okay.
Because they mostly target the SME description is a higher one where 250 employees need to be done.
Right.
Now, this, why they have not been doing that? Because in 2009-12, a policy was made to develop and women entrepreneurship, but that was never materialized because there is no data.
Okay.
Now, who makes the data? How the data comes up? See, when women do not come up and tell the government of Pakistan or any organization that we are doing some kind of business, or the data or some organization helps in getting the data. Data comes to the Commerce Ministry if they are exporter. But women are mostly 91%, 95% in informal trade.
All right.
So how you make a policy on that?
Yeah, we'll definitely come back to that, but at this very moment, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely have to head out for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back because today the topic we're discussing is of pivotal importance too as well. And for all those people who are out there, I think everybody needs to speak about it because word of mouth is the strongest marketing tool, and that's how we're going to do it. Let's go for a short break. Good morning.
Good morning.
Of moonless nights. When handed a night bereft of its glittering pendant, I decided to grow my own moon. So the spirit is no more hostage to the hide and seek of a wandering celestial being. That is but a deceptive glimmer of hope, a mirage that lures the wayfarer to lose his way and embark upon a quest for the elusive. I stole the glow from selfless souls, added the void within my being as dark spots, rolled into a concoction.
The nights are never moonless. There is no longing. There is no parting.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you were watching World this morning alongside Shiza Hashmi and Shazad Khan. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're discussing about women empowerment, where we initiated from the fact where approximately 7 billion global population comprises of 56% women too as well. And if we not today are going to stand up and empower our women, I don't think that the economy of the globe is going to do very well, and the developing countries will have an impact of that too as well, because I think within the developing countries like Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, all of these places where women actually need to step out too as well to add to the economy, and this will definitely make us land into a prosperous land as well. And this is how nations develop, this is how nations work. But before we went on to break, Ms. Rubina over here very rightly said that, you know, that we do not really get the data. And the reason behind that is that our union council might not be working on that too as well. Within our rural areas, a lot of workforce actually comprises of women, which does not even get paid because of the fact that the men then stand in the front row as well, claiming for all of those things as well. So Ms. Afshan wanted to add. Let's see what she wanted to say about the policy.
I just wanted to add, add on further into this, that women comprises more than half of this population of Pakistan, but in spite of that, there are many interventions launched by government platforms like NAFTEC and TEFTA and SMIDA and Wasila Rozgar and Wasila Talim and many more such social protection interventions, but then they are not as sufficient, you know, as compared to the population, you know, in our country. And at this point, we need to do public-private partnerships. We should see the development sector, how closely they are working at the grassroots level, and they have had a better outreach at the periphery. And they are the ones who are exclusively focusing on women empowerment in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of their exposure, in terms of their basic literacy, financial literacy, technical, you know, skills, like if a woman in any village, in any area, though she's not educated, she wants to, you know, do some earning, they provide them beauty parlor trainings. You know, whilst being at home, she can do the, you know, little bit such activities, and she can do her earning. So development sector have much better examples how they are contributing in women empowerment, and here government and private sector plus even academia and the development sector need to contribute and see how they are ensuring women participation. Because my own experience, 22 years of experience in development sector, wherever, even in those areas where there was no electricity, no water, no schools, but these organizations ensure their outreach, and they, you know, manage to mobilize women in the form of groups, and then ensure basic literacy and also little bit skills, which they can utilize for their economic and income generating activities. The difference was much you know, conspicuous and obvious as compared to those women who had no opportunities. And then these women, what they did, they then ensured that their daughters should study and their daughters should have such opportunities. So I must say this is something very important, where we have to do programming keeping in view the overall population, but the start should be through data.
Okay, perfect. Ms. Afshan rightly said. But, you know, Mr. Rubina, you've been a part of, as I've mentioned, Ministry of Commerce as well. And I'm pretty sure you know a lot about the trade policy that you're developing for 2018 to 23 for the 5-year ride. So can you tell us if it's going to be any different than the previous ones in terms of gender discrimination or women's right, you know, specifically?
Yes, of course. This year, the policy coming is for 5 years. Earlier, there were 3-year policies.
Okay.
Now, this is a 5-year policy. And I must appreciate the efforts of US aid
Okay.
in getting the awareness programs for women entrepreneurs and the chambers, and some active chambers like the Multan Women Chamber, where Masuma Sabjan is the chairman. There is a women leadership program coming up, and this is a program where advocacy has been included. Now, this group is advising government of Pakistan where to have a gender perspective in all policies. So due to their efforts, a lot of meetings have been held, and I've been part of it many times. I'm also a resource person of US aid, and I instruct women entrepreneurship on how to start business and how to advise what points to raise, what policy proposals should be sent to the Commerce Ministry. So this year we hope that there will be a whole chapter on gender perspective, where all those areas would be included where women are engaged in. And trade policy normally covers mostly the products where women are not engaged. So see, trade policy is for import-export of various products.
Right.
It is sector specific.
Yes.
Now, all those sectors come up where women are not engaged. So this time, maybe they'll be having a different perspective.
Okay.
We have advised them to include all those products where women are engaged. Now, 90% of women of Pakistan are mostly in textiles, various areas of textiles and other products, but they do not have a good range. They're mostly in a few sectors only. Now, those sectors need to be emphasized. Those sectors need to be included into our FTAs, our PTAs, our trade agreements. Even UNCTAD is doing that with India. They are identifying those areas where women are engaged mostly, even in industries where women are working more, or the sectors where women are. So they are going to target those areas and getting them into the agreements of the foreign with foreign governments. So Pakistan needs to do that also, and maybe this year we'll have a better, much better policy.
Of course, inshallah, that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want to happen too as well. But other than that, now I have a different perspective, and that perspective is, how do you think that women will be able to inculcate the behavioral changes which are required to feel as an empowered woman too as well? Because what happens in every household is that they do want, they are decisive, they know what they want to do, but I don't know, they just keep on asking the men in the house too as well, acha batao phir main ye kar lun, acha batao. They have all the freedom, they can take all the decision, but I think that this is about time that women needs to change the behaviors within
Feel
their own selves,
empowered,
the way that they feel, the way they decide things, and the way they rely on other people too as well, which will help us men to understand that she's ready to take her solo flight.
Okay.
I must
That's a
say this
perspective.
this is very, very important, because I take my own example. I belong to a village, and I had also all those difficulties where I was not allowed to get higher education. They wanted me to get married, and then I was a very stubborn person. And I would always, try to break the
Norms.
these
Well, if
norms
I would have
and
been you, I would have gotten married.
stereotype-
I was like, I'm not
stereotypes.
studying.
But let me tell you the reason. My whole family, like, they would sometimes ask my brothers, oh, this is something or social, something socially negative for us. But my father, my mother were behind it. It's the role of parents from the very beginning. They should give that trust, that confidence, that training to their children, that they have their talent, they have all those good characteristics, and they are equally performed just like their brothers. So the confidence comes from your house, from the childhood. Even the early childhood theory tells you that from up till 8 years, whatever training you will impart, they will make the characteristics of that boy. So this comes from the house, and then next level is the school level. Our schools are too much theoretical. Our schools have to change their teaching methodology. They have to impart those practical life skills also to the students, because once they go to the practical life, they should not be feeling shy away. And the third level comes to the organizational level. All the organizations should be having proper gender and women empowerment policies. Once you start, you engage, you join an organization, there should be basic orientation, there should be basic training of do's and don'ts,
Rule
of
books,
the protocols, of the rules, of the SOPs, and then you should be given basic orientation, how to perform, how to communicate, how to present yourself.
Yeah.
So
Right.
these are all types of prerequisites that should be part of professional life, then household level, and then the educational institution, and all together that makes it a complete person, which I
Right.
must say. And later on, if you jump into the sea and you sometimes get a difficulty, that even makes you more stronger.
Yeah.
But at least allow your child to try,
Explore
to
probably,
take
yeah.
risk, to explore.
Exactly.
So that is a point which makes you even rise higher.
That's
But
great,
you know,
and
Mr.
I have a quotation to share over here. Very sorry for that, and and the quotation says that so whenever I think that I'm in hot water, what I do is that I think of this quotation, and this quotation very beautifully narrates that if there's something which doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger. So every other step, every other initiative you're going to take will actually help you build your own characteristics and be a stronger
Can
person.
I say just
Sure.
one small point which is important here? Normally we have lots of good schemes and programs and plans by the government as well as by other private sector, developer sector, but normally people don't know that. So there should be some mechanism so that a common masses, people, girls, community, they know what are the opportunities available and how they can outreach and avail those opportunities.
think media needs
That
to
is-
play a role in
There
that.
is a disconnect of information
Okay.
sharing.
Okay, so perfect. Now this is what, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to say that once a woman knows that if she goes out there, there is a hand-holding somebody, there is a platform
Okay.
for her where she can go and economically, again, I would say, she makes different products. She knows that she can sell them, but she has no place to sell them. So if at grassroots level and going up to the urban areas, if she knows that she's making something and she'll be able to sell it and get a turnover, she will go on doing the business.
Yeah.
Because if she has no place to sell her products, she finishes business the first year. And the father, the brother, the husband do not let her go on working. And we are providing such kind of, after my government retirement, I've started a platform where the women from all over Pakistan will display their products and have a more regular and secure place to sell their products, and they'll go on
And
developing.
how can all those women who are out there who are listening to you right now reach out to you for that information, for that particular platform which is available for them?
Yeah, well, I've advertised it widely through Facebook also. We're starting this exhibition from tomorrow onwards. It's called V-Mart exhibition at Islamabad Hotel, Islamabad Melody. And we're going to inaugurate it. We have women participating from all over the country.
And what's happening within that?
Yeah, women are bringing their products from all over Pakistan, even Gilgit.
Entrepreneurs, okay.
Gilgit, Nabsha, Karachi, Multan, Lahore, and they are displaying their product in a very respectable place. My idea is that there should be a woman market in every city.
Right.
When we can have a Juma Bazaar, when we can have a flower market, why cannot we have a woman specific market where these micro enterprises can say sit safely, sell their products and go back home.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I mean, I've been asking support for this thing, because in my 30 years of experience, I've discovered that marketing is the biggest issue for women.
Exactly.
They do not know how to sell their products.
Although I have to say, Ms. Rubina, we totally endorse and support this cause.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but I know you have
Actually,
to add
what I
something.
wanted
What
to
do you
say,
add?
she already said it, that my own experience of
Yeah.
being a development professional,
Huh.
we used to train thousands and thousands of women in various trades and skills. But what would happen? They would prepare the product, and then there would be no marketing. Support available to them, and because of that, this all effort would get futile. So in Pakistan, what needs to be done is to have a marketing support available. That this is one excellent idea, and then they should link them up with the private sector. That they should start from the need-based, entrepreneurship skills. What market requires, and those who should be the skills they should be training those women for.
Great.
Once they prepare, automatically market will pick up those projects or pick them up for those skills. So this is a gray area in Pakistan.
So,
And I think that sharing this platform, for example, this V-Mart, which is going to happen from tomorrow onwards.
Yes,
And it'll
tomorrow.
be on for 2 days
For
as well.
3 days, for
for
till
3
6th
days
of September.
And I think that everybody needs to step up in their game too as well. Go out there, buy from them, But before you ask one thing, okay, probably you can ask because whatever I wanted to ask is very different. So very quickly, yeah.
Okay, so you know, when you were defining your women empowerment, you said that the issue actually needs to be dealt with education. So I have to say myself, Shana, I feel like, this is my personal opinion, at this point in time, we're not talking about education anymore. Because, okay, women are educated, they're actually getting jobs as well. But the issue for me that prevails is, for a lot of women as well, is a safe environment to work in. So I happen to avail this, you know, car service a lot, and I'm very proud to say that quite seldom I've met with women drivers as well on that service. So you know, it's very inspiring for me. So I talk to them a lot, how, you know, you became a part of it, and what they have to say is, it's so uncomfortable to you know, drive with men, because first of all, they want to sit in front with you. It's uncomfortable because I personally will not be comfortable driving for a stranger man, you know. And second, they're secretly taking your pictures continuously. Why is that so? I'm not taking pictures of the male driver that I'm, you know, driving with. Why does a male person have to take pictures secretly of a female,
Because
making
it's
her
different
uncomfortable?
for them that, you know, oh, finally, you know,
No,
women
not
empowerment,
that.
we get to see it.
I know
No,
what you mean, but
safe,
not
yeah.
that sort of pictures,
Actually,
you know.
safe environment is one of the issues in Pakistan. That's why a lot many women who maybe they have no restrictions from their house, but even on their own when they go out, they feel harassed or feel scared or feel uncomfortable. It is because in society, women empowerment is, parents is one way, schools is one way. The more and the ultimate role is of the duty bearer, which is state. State has to provide such environment outside the house. When women go out, they feel safe, and for that they need to put in place mechanisms. For example, now they had this women harassment, you know, women ombudsman office on sexual harassment, where if women had any issue, you can go and complain. Then there was only cyber crime law where you could complain. There should be police reforms. A lot more needs to be done in, you know, police, and there should be such you know, complaint cells, helplines and other mechanisms that people, society knows, the taxi wala knows, the service station wala knows, if I will do
They'll be
something,
held accountable.
she will
Yeah.
complain and I will be stuck.
Okay, and talking about these
So
mechanisms,
that is the, those mechanisms are missing here.
Yeah.
If they would be there provided by state, automatically women will feel safe.
very good, very good. And I can relate to that as well. So since you talked about women riding, you know, other people as well, and I think that, you know, that we're actually coming down to a point where women are stepping up in their game too as well. But since you talked about mechanism, I've got a different mechanism. Now I think that, you know, at least 50% of the responsibility is ours too as well. For example, if you wanted to be a cab driver, there's no problem. But what happens in the West is, I'm sorry that I have to give that example, for example, black cabs. So once you sit in the black cab, you know, first of all, there's a partition. You know, you cannot even touch the driver. You can only speak from a little window. And if you haven't paid, you know, you cannot even get out of the car, because that's the type of system they have in place as well. So no matter what happens, you know, the driver feels safe. So I think for all those women who've opted for that, what you need to do is that just made a few customizations or different arrangements within your own car, and everything will be great. But very quickly towards the end of the show, now, I'm very sorry that I have to do this, and a lot of times I'm an scapegoat on the show. So what happens is that people have this general, you know, idea about, for example, or insecurity about women, that if they will be empowered, you know, they'll probably leave us, you know, they leave us behind, and, you know, they'll be on their own. So if we give men this security, and how will we do it? I don't know. This is something which you will tell, that even if you allow women to go work, and even if she's earning more than you, she'll probably be the first person to spend on you. And I think that's how it is. How do we do that?
Yeah. This is a misconception actually in the minds of men, the male society. That is why they're not letting their women go out,
That's
getting
sick,
more
I have to
educated.
say.
But I suppose that is also changing these days. If a woman earns, she spends the first money on her own house.
Always.
And this has proven now, and I think the men, of course, they are at first afraid of letting her get the reins of the house and the earnings. But later on, I think they do realize. And the woman has to be actually stay in her own respectable place. She needs to demand respect herself. She needs to go out in a proper way, dress up properly also. And she needs to know her subject actually. If she goes to any office, she needs to act properly, and she should know what she is going for, what her proposal is, how to meet people. And this I've been telling women all the time when I teach them, that how she should enter an office.
Okay.
Because an officer sitting on the other side may have a preconceived idea of what a
Exactly.
woman is. And I faced it many times, and I've been telling them that you should behave properly, you should know your subject, and you should dress up properly. This is one thing very important for
Amazing.
women.
Last 1 minute.
Okay, I must say that, you know, this is a fact that it is a patriarchal society.
Yes.
We cannot deny this, you know, fact. And this, from the time immemorial, women were taken as entity, as a property, as a personal property. To be very honest,
Yeah.
if you see, if explore the history, that's why still we have to go long way. We have to where we have to treat women and take them at par with men. That's why that notion never comes, you know, goes away. Whenever you think somebody is taking, coming at your level, taking that whole space, there is this type of insecurity. They might, you know, leave me. They might exercise their own right. They might not take permission from me. They might, you know, use their own ways and means to live their life in their own way. So this is there. So we have to deal with it. We have to shun it aside. We have to prove it. And the only possible way is where both men and women will support each other. There is no such society mentally, physically, socially healthy where you promote feminism.
Right.
It's always the men who have to support their women. It's always the women who have to,
Support
you know,
them.
go hand in hand with the men to make a healthier society.
Amazing. Thank you very much. That's a beautiful wrap up too as well. Shiza, is there anything you want to say?
Empower yourselves and empower your society.
Exactly. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, all you need to do is that you probably have to keep on giving us your feedback too as well. If there's anything, you know, we love it when
Yes.
people, whether it's bad, whether it's good, we love it because of the fact that there are people who want us to make changes,
Yeah.
and this
We're
is
open
how
to criticism.
yeah, and this is how life is going to get better when you listen to other people who are actually loyal to you as well.
Yes.
And if you listen to all those people who are not actually loyal to you, you know, you'll ruin your life too as well.
That's
So don't listen that much. Make sure that you are focused, make sure that you're determined, you're motivated, and inshallah you'll be there. So do write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of,
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a
on
G.
Daily Motion and YouTube.
Well, this morning.
The fabulous repeat's going to be at
11:05 in the night.
till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good
morning.
morning.